Picture yourself on the deck of a weathered ship, the sky above a churning cauldron of black clouds, the waves below roaring like beasts hungry for your surrender. The storm is relentless, tearing at your sails, drenching your spirit, and whispering a single, seductive promise. Give up. Let the current take you. Why fight when the tempest seems endless? You've felt this before, haven't you? That moment when every fiber of your being screams to abandon the journey, to drop the burden, to slip into the quiet of defeat. Welcome to the heart of struggle, where the whisper of surrender grows loudest. In this section, the whisper of surrender, we dive into the seductive pull of quitting when challenges tower like tidal waves. Within the greater voyage of forcing yourself forward when you want to quit, this is your first battle, recognizing the storm's voice and choosing to grip the helm tighter. Feel the salt on your skin, the tremble in your hands. You're not just surviving, you're learning to navigate. Let's chart this course together. Imagine you're a student, hunched over a desk littered with crumpled notes and half-empty coffee cups. Months of grinding, late nights, and sacrificed weekends have led to this. A crucial exam that could define your future. You've poured your soul into preparation, but the results come back like a slap. Failure. The red marks on the paper aren't just grades. They're a verdict on your worth. A taunt that all your effort was wasted. Your chest tightens. The thought creeps in, soft as a shadow. Why keep going? Drop out. Walk away. This isn't for you. Friends have already moved on to easier paths. Family might even understand. The weight of wasted time presses down, and quitting feels like the only release. You sit in your room, staring at the textbook you no longer believe in. The storm of doubt raging outside your window. It's not just rain, it's the deluge of every fear you've ever harbored. Fear of not being enough, of endless struggle with no shore in sight. Surrender beckons like a calm harbor, promising rest. But then, a memory flickers. The first day you started this journey. The quiet fire that made you believe you could do this. What if this failure isn't the end, but a brutal wave testing your resolve? Like a ship in a storm, you're battered, but not broken. You could steer through. You pick up the pen again, not because it's easy, but because deep down, you know the storm doesn't last forever. The lesson is raw and real. The whisper of surrender is loudest when you're closest to a breakthrough. Hold the helm, the horizon waits. Now see yourself as an athlete. Your body a machine you've honed through years of sweat and sacrifice. Every muscle remembers the grind. Early mornings, grueling drills, the ache of pushing past pain. But lately, injuries have stacked up like storm clouds. A torn ligament here, a strained tendon there. Each setback steals a piece of your confidence. Today, as you limp off the field after another failed attempt to train, the thought strikes like lightning. My body can't take this. I'm done. Coaches notice your absence. Teammates move on. The dream of standing on that podium, of proving your grit, feels like a ship sinking beneath endless waves. Quitting isn't just an option. It feels like the only sane choice. You sit on the edge of your bed, ice pack on your knee, staring at the medals on the wall, reminders of a time when you felt unbreakable. The storm of doubt howls louder now. You've given enough. Let go. But beneath the pain, a stubborn ember glows. You remember the first race you ever ran, the raw thrill of defying your limits. What if this injury, this storm, is just the final test before calm waters? Like a captain facing a brutal tempest, you realize surrender is a choice, not a fate. You lace up your shoes, not for glory, but for the fight itself. The takeaway burns through the rain. The whisper of surrender tempts you most when endurance is forging something unbreakable within. Keep steering. The dawn is nearer than you think. Let's pause and face the tempest head on. Why does quitting feel so sweet when the waves crash hardest? It's because surrender masquerades as mercy. It offers a false harbor, a place to dock your weary ship, to escape the sting of failure, the ache of effort. But here's the hidden truth. That harbor is a trap, a mirage woven from fear and fatigue. When challenges loom like insurmountable storms, your mind becomes a battlefield. One voice cries for relief, whispering, "You've done enough. Rest." The other, quieter but fiercer, urges, "Keep going. You're stronger than this squall." Which do you heed? How many voyages have you abandoned just before the wind shifted? Think of your life as a ship navigating a brutal storm. The rain blinds you, the gales tear at your resolve, and every wave feels personal, designed to drown your dreams. Quitting seems like salvation, but it's a thief. It steals the chance to see what lies beyond the tempest. Calm seas, a stronger vessel, a captain forged by the fight. Pain isn't your enemy. It's the wind that tests your sails. Fatigue isn't your downfall. It's the current that teaches you to steer. The seductive pull of quitting is a siren song, beautiful but deadly. Resist it. Lean into the storm. You're not just surviving, you're becoming the master of your seas. Have you ever noticed how the urge to quit grows heaviest when you've invested the most? It's no accident. The more you pour into a journey, be it a career, a relationship, a personal goal, the louder surrender whispers. It's as if the storm senses your commitment and doubles its fury, daring you to let go of the helm. But why does it sting so much to even consider quitting? Because deep down, you know what's at stake. You've built something, fought for something, and walking away means leaving a piece of yourself behind. How many dreams have you buried under the weight of a single, stormy night? Picture your struggle as a ship caught in a maelstrom, the kind that legends are made of. The deck is slick with despair, the compass spins wildly, and every instinct screams to abandon ship. But here's a timeless truth. Storms don't just test your strength, they reveal it. The seductive pull of quitting is a mirror, showing you not just your doubts, but your capacity to defy them. Every time you choose to grip the helm tighter, you carve a deeper mark of resilience into your soul. You're not a passenger on this journey, you're the captain. Surrender may call, but it doesn't command. Turn into the wind. Let the storm sculpt you into something unyielding. When the whisper of surrender grows deafening, you need a lifeline, something to anchor your resolve before the storm sweeps you away. Here's a simple but powerful step. Pause. Don't decide to quit in the heat of frustration. Step back from the crashing waves and breathe. Ask yourself one question. What is the one thing I'll regret if I stop now? Write it down. Maybe it's the vision of crossing that finish line, graduating, or proving to yourself you can endure. That answer is your anchor, a reminder of why you started this voyage. Next, break the storm into smaller waves. If the challenge feels insurmountable, focus on one manageable task. If you're a student drowning in failure, commit to reviewing just one chapter today. If you're an athlete battered by injury, focus on one rehab exercise. Small actions rebuild momentum, reminding you that you're still steering the ship. Finally, speak your resolve aloud. Tell yourself, "I'm not done yet." Words have power. They cut through the fog of doubt. When surrender tempts you, anchor yourself with purpose, action, and voice. You're stronger than the storm's whisper. The urge to quit often strikes when you lose sight of the horizon, when the storm blinds you to your destination. To counter this, map your course even in the darkest weather. Start by revisiting your why. Why did you board this ship in the first place? Was it to build a better life? To master a skill? To defy the odds? Write down that original spark and keep it close, a compass to guide you when surrender beckons. Look at it daily, especially on days when the waves feel tallest. Then track your progress, no matter how small. Keep a log of every step forward, every battle fought, even if it's just showing up when you wanted to stay down. These records are your map, proof that you've weathered storms before and can do it again. Lastly, find a crew, Someone who believes in your journey. Share your struggle with a friend, mentor, or family member. Their encouragement is a lighthouse, cutting through the rain of doubt. When quitting feels inevitable, use your why, your progress, and your people to redraw your course. The storm may rage, but you'll never sail blind. As the rain begins to ease and the first cracks of light pierce the storm clouds, let's anchor the lessons of the whisper of surrender. You faced the seductive pull of quitting, felt its weight in the stories of a student and an athlete, and seen how it tempts you most when the waves are highest. Through philosophical depths, we've uncovered that surrender is a mirage, a false harbor that steals your chance to become more. With practical steps, you've learned to pause, anchor yourself, and map your course even in blinding doubt. The key takeaway is this: the whisper of surrender is not your master, it's a test of your will to endure. You are the captain of your ship, and every storm you navigate builds a stronger vessel. As we prepare to sail into the next leg of this journey, remember that forcing yourself forward begins with recognizing the storm's voice and refusing to heed it. Hold fast. The seas ahead will demand even more, but you've already proven you can steer through the worst. Keep your eyes on the horizon, your hands on the helm. The calm is coming, and with it, a version of you forged by the tempest. Steer through the storm, your dawn is breaking. Picture yourself on the jagged face of a towering peak, the wind howling like a beast, clawing at your resolve. Your hands are raw, gripping the cold stone, and every muscle in your body screams for surrender. The summit is hidden in the clouds, mocking your effort, while the ground below beckons with the sweet lie of rest. Why are you here? Why endure this ache, this relentless pull to quit? Because deep within, you know this climb is more than a mountain. It's your life, your dreams, your fight. In this moment, under the weight of the climb, you face the raw truth of forcing yourself forward when every instinct roars to stop. This is not just about reaching the top. It's about mastering the storm inside you. Welcome to the battle of pushing on, where the emotional and physical toll carves you into something unbreakable. Let's scale this peak together, step by agonizing step, until you stand taller than your doubts. Imagine yourself as a writer, sitting alone at a scarred wooden desk, the dim light of a flickering lamp casting shadows across a blank page. For months, you've poured your soul into words, only to receive rejection after rejection, each one a stone piling onto your chest. Your inbox is a graveyard of no thank you and not a fit. The dream of seeing your name on a book spine feels like a cruel mirage, fading with every unanswered query. Your fingers hover over the keyboard, but nothing comes. The voice inside whispers, "Why bother? You're not good enough. Walk away." The weight of this climb is suffocating. Every unwritten word feels like a boulder you must drag uphill. You imagine a life without this pain, one where you don't wake up haunted by stories you can't tell. The temptation to shelve your dream for good is a siren call, promising peace if you just let go. But then, in the silence, you remember why you started. That fire, though dim, still flickers. You recall the first story you ever wrote, the thrill of creating something from nothing. You're not just a writer, you're a climber, and this blank page is your cliff face. So you force yourself to type one word, then another. It's not perfect, but it's progress. Days turn to weeks, and slowly, the rejections sting less. One morning, an email arrives, not a rejection, but a yes. That single word is your summit, proof that the toll of pushing forward wasn't in vain. Like a climber gripping the peak after a grueling ascent, you realize the weight wasn't meant to crush you, it was meant to forge you. The lesson is clear. When you want to quit, cling to your why. It's the rope that pulls you up when your strength fails. Now see yourself as a small business owner, standing in the empty shell of the shop you built from nothing. Years of sacrifice, late nights, skipped meals, borrowed money have led to this moment, But the numbers don't lie. Debts are mounting like storm clouds, and customers are scarce. Every bill that arrives is a gust of wind pushing you closer to the edge. Your family looks at you with worried eyes, unspoken questions hanging heavy. Is this worth it? Shouldn't you stop? Closing shop feels like the only way to breathe again. The weight of this climb is not just financial, it's emotional, a gnawing doubt that chews at your pride. You've poured your identity into this venture, and shutting the doors feels like burying a piece of yourself. Quitting promises relief, a chance to escape the endless grind. Yet as you stand among the empty shelves, a memory surfaces. The first sale you ever made, the stranger who smiled and said, "This means something. You're a climber, and this debt, this struggle, is your relentless peak." So you force yourself to act. You call a mentor, brainstorm one more idea, cut costs where you can. It's not a grand victory, but it's a foothold. Months later, a small uptick in sales lights a spark, then another. Slowly, the storm clears, and you're still standing. The summit isn't wealth, it's resilience. You've learned that the toll of pushing forward, though brutal, is the price of growth. When every instinct screamed to stop, you chose to climb, and in that choice, you found a strength no failure can steal. The takeaway shines through. The weight of the climb is heavy, but it's building the muscle of your will. Let's pause on this rugged slope and look inward. The emotional and physical toll of forcing yourself forward isn't just exhaustion, it's a storm raging in your chest. Every step up this peak feels like a battle against yourself. Your body aches, pleading for rest. Your mind spins tales of failure, urging you to turn back. Why does it hurt so much to keep going? Because growth is never gentle. It's a chisel striking stone, a fire tempering steel. You're not just climbing a mountain, you're carving a new version of yourself from the raw material of struggle. The wind of doubt howls loudest when you're closest to breaking through. Have you ever noticed that? The moment you want to quit is often the moment before a shift, before the clouds part and reveal how far you've come. Think of this toll as your initiation. A climber doesn't reach the summit without scars, calloused hands, aching limbs, a heart that's known despair. So too must you endure the weight of your journey. That heaviness isn't punishment, it's proof you're alive, fighting for something worth having. Picture your doubts as loose rocks on the path, treacherous, yes, but temporary. You can step over them, around them, or use them as anchors to pull yourself higher. The physical drain, the sleepless nights, the tears shed in silence. These are not signs of weakness, but badges of your refusal to be broken. So, ask yourself, what summit are you willing to bleed for? The answer will guide you when the storm within threatens to sweep you away. There's a deeper truth in this climb that you must grasp. The peak you seek, the dream, the goal, the life you crave, is often hidden behind a veil of pain. You can't see it when you're in the thick of the struggle, when every fiber of your being begs to stop. The emotional toll clouds your vision like mist on the mountain, making you believe the top will never come. And the physical toll? It's the ache of carrying not just your body, but the weight of every what if and I can't. Yet isn't it true that the hardest climbs yield the most breathtaking views? You don't scale a peak for the ease of the path. You do it for the moment you stand above the world, knowing you conquered what tried to conquer you. This hidden summit is a metaphor for your resilience. Each time you force yourself forward, you're not just moving closer to a goal. You're proving to yourself that you can endure. The toll isn't a barrier, it's a teacher. It shows you the depth of your hunger, the strength of your grit. Imagine a climber, battered by wind and rain, who suddenly breaks through the clouds to see the peak just ahead. That's you, in the moment you choose to keep going. So, reflect on this. How many times have you stopped just shy of revelation? How many hidden summits have you missed because the weight felt too much? Let this climb remind you that the toll is temporary, but the triumph of pushing on is eternal. When the weight of the climb threatens to pull you down, You need a lifeline. Here's a step to hold you steady. Pause, but don't stop. When every instinct screams to quit, take a breath. Literally, sit down, close your eyes, and let the chaos settle for just 5 minutes. Feel the ground beneath you, the air in your lungs. This isn't surrender, it's recalibration. Ask yourself one question. What's the smallest step I can take right now? Maybe it's writing one sentence if you're that struggling writer. Maybe it's making one phone call if you're that drowning entrepreneur. That tiny action is your foothold on the cliff face. It reminds you that progress, no matter how small, is still progress. Next, anchor yourself with a reminder of your purpose. Write it down if you must, a single sentence about why you started this climb. Keep it close, in your pocket or on your desk. When the toll feels unbearable, read it. Let it be the rope that tethers you to your resolve. You're not just fighting exhaustion, you're fighting for meaning. And finally, limit the noise. Turn off the voices, whether they're critics, doubters, or your own inner saboteur. Focus on the next step, not the entire mountain. You don't need to see the summit to keep climbing, you just need to trust it's there. These actions aren't magic, but they're muscle. Use them, and watch how the weight becomes bearable. There will be moments in this climb when your energy is spent, when the emotional and physical toll leaves you hollow. Here's how to reignite yourself. First, revisit a past victory. Think of a time you pushed through, no matter how small, a project finished, a fear faced, a day you didn't give up. Write down 3 things you felt in that moment: pride, relief, strength. Let those feelings be kindling for your fire. You've done it before, you can do it again. This isn't wishful thinking, it's evidence of your capacity. Second, move your body even when you don't want to. The physical toll can trap you in stagnation, but motion breaks the spell. Walk for 10 minutes, stretch, or simply stand and breathe deeply. Your body is part of this climb, and waking it up wakes your spirit. Lastly, speak your resolve aloud. Say, I will not quit today. Let the words echo, even if you're alone. They're a promise to yourself, a spark against the darkness of doubt. These steps are simple, but they're powerful. They're the flint and steel you need when the cold of quitting creeps in. Use them to keep climbing, one burning step at a time. As we stand on this ledge, catching our breath, let's look back at the ground we've covered. The weight of the climb, the emotional bruises, the physical drain, the endless pull to quit, has tested you in ways you never imagined. Through the stories of the writer and the entrepreneur, you've seen that the toll is universal, a shared storm we all face when chasing something greater. Through reflection, you've learned that this weight isn't meant to break you, it's meant to build you, to carve resilience into your very bones. And with practical steps, you've armed yourself with tools to keep moving, even when the peak seems unreachable. The key lesson of this ascent is clear. Forcing yourself forward when you want to quit transforms the weight into strength, turning every struggle into a stepping stone toward your summit. But the climb isn't over. The path ahead will demand more of you, more grit, more heart. As we prepare to face the next stretch, carry this truth. You are stronger than the storm. You are the climber who refuses to fall. Let this mantra be your rallying cry as we press on, step by defiant step. Keep climbing. Your summit is closer than the storm lets you see. Picture a blacksmith's forge. The air thick with heat, the glow of molten steel casting shadows on soot-streaked walls. The hammer crashes down, sparks flying like defiant stars, each strike bending the raw, unyielding metal into something greater. You are that steel, and life is the hammer. Right now you stand at the edge of surrender, your body aching, your spirit frayed, whispering, I can't go on. But what if pain isn't your enemy? What if resistance is the very force that shapes you into something unbreakable? In this crucible of struggle, you learn a truth as old as the forge itself. To force yourself forward when you want to quit is to embrace the fire that transforms you. Welcome to Forging Through Fire, where we confront the raw, searing moments of life and discover that pain and resistance are not barriers. They are your greatest tools. You've felt the weight of giving up, but today you choose to endure. Let's step into the heat together and hammer out a strength you never knew you had. Imagine a single parent, Maria, rising before dawn, her bones heavy with exhaustion. She works 2 jobs, days at a diner, nights cleaning offices to keep food on the table for her 2 children. Her hands tremble as she pours coffee for strangers. Her feet ache with every step across polished floors, and her mind screams for rest. There are nights she collapses on her couch, staring at unpaid bills, wondering if it's all for nothing. Why not give up? The voice whispers. Let someone else carry this burden. But then she sees her daughter's drawing taped to the fridge, a crayon sketch of their family, smiling under a bright sun. That image is her forge. It's the fire that burns away doubt. She forces herself to stand, to lace up her worn shoes, to face another grueling day. Each step feels like a hammer strike, painful and relentless, but it shapes her into a pillar of resilience. Maria learns that pain isn't just suffering, it's the price of a promise kept. Her children will never know hunger, not if she can help it, and in that choice to keep going, she forges a legacy stronger than steel. Like Maria, you face moments where quitting seems like mercy, but remember, every strike of struggle is crafting something enduring in you. Your pain is purpose in disguise. Now picture James, a man in recovery, 6 months sober after years lost to addiction. Every morning, he wakes to a silent war. The urge claws at him, a shadow promising relief in a single, reckless choice. His hands shake as he brews coffee instead of reaching for a bottle. His mind replays old haunts, old escapes. Rebuilding his life, mending broken trust with family, finding steady work, feels like climbing a sheer cliff with bleeding hands. Just one slip, the temptation murmurs. No one will know, but James knows. He's been down that abyss before, and he refuses to fall again. He grips a small token in his pocket, a coin marking his sober days, and it's his anvil, grounding him as life's hammer falls. Each day he forces himself to choose therapy over isolation, honesty over lies. He's shaped by the heat of resistance. The pain of saying no burns, but it's forging a new man, one strike at a time. James teaches us that transformation isn't painless. It's a brutal, deliberate act. You too face urges to quit, to numb the struggle, but like James, you can hold fast. Let each hard choice be a blow that molds you into someone unbreakable. Step back for a moment and look at the nature of pain. It's not a wall to crash against, it's a forge to step into. Think of the blacksmith. Does he curse the heat that scalds his skin or the hammer that jars his arm? No, he knows these are the forces that turn raw ore into a blade. So it is with you. When life hammers down, through sleepless nights, through failures that sting, through dreams that seem to slip further away, don't flinch. This is your transformation. Pain is the heat that softens your edges, making you pliable for growth. Resistance is the strike that shapes your will into something sharp and unyielding. Why do you fear the struggle? Is it because you've been taught that ease equals success? The truth is, no mountain is climbed without burning lungs. No masterpiece built without calloused hands. You are not diminished by hardship, you are refined by it. Embrace the fire. Let it burn away doubt, weakness, and fear. What emerges on the other side is a version of you that can withstand any storm. The next time quitting tempts you, stand in the heat, feel the hammer fall. Know that you are being forged into something greater. Now consider resistance, that invisible weight pushing against every step you take. It's not a foe to defeat, it's a sculptor chiseling away at the stone of who you are. Picture a river carving through a canyon. Does the rock resent the water's relentless push? No, it yields over time, becoming a marvel of nature's art. You are that rock, and resistance is your river. Every time you force yourself to keep going, through exhaustion, through rejection, through the ache of uncertainty, you're being sculpted into a monument of strength. Why do you resist the resistance? Have you forgotten that nothing worth having comes without a fight? The parent working endless hours, the addict battling old demons. They aren't just surviving, they're being carved into something timeless. Resistance isn't punishment, it's precision. It strips away what's weak, revealing the core of who you can become. So don't shy from the pushback. Lean into it. Let it shape you. When you want to quit, remember, this pressure, this grind, is crafting a masterpiece. You are the canyon, vast and enduring, formed by the very forces you thought would break you. When the urge to quit scorches your resolve, don't flee the fire. Harness it. First, pause. Don't act on impulse. Take a deep breath and feel the heat of the moment. Ask yourself, what am I forging right now? Maybe it's patience. Maybe it's grit. Maybe it's a future you can't yet see. Name it. Write it down if you must. This act turns pain into purpose. Second, break the struggle into one strike at a time. Don't stare at the endless road ahead. Focus on the next step. If you're exhausted, commit to just one more hour. If you're tempted to give in, promise yourself one more day of resistance. Small victories stack like tempered steel, building a strength that lasts. Finally, find your anvil, something or someone that grounds you. It could be a photo of your family, a reminder of your goal, or even a quiet word you repeat to yourself. Hold it tight when the hammer falls. Pain and resistance are heavy, but they're not eternal. Use them as tools, not chains. You're not just surviving the fire, you're shaping something extraordinary with every choice to keep going. Resistance will test you, but you can stand firm. Start by reframing the struggle. Don't see it as a burden, but as a builder. When you feel crushed by life's weight, say to yourself, "This is my hammer. It's making me stronger." Speak it aloud if you need to. Let the words anchor you. Next, create a ritual for the hardest moments. When quitting looms, step away for 5 minutes. Walk, breathe, or grip something tangible. A pen, a stone, anything to remind you of your solidity. Use this time to recall a past victory, no matter how small. You've endured before, you can endure now. Lastly, track your strikes. Keep a journal or a simple tally of days you've pushed through. Each mark is proof of your transformation, a visible sign that resistance isn't breaking you, it's building you. The hammer of life doesn't care if you're tired, it falls anyway, but you decide what it shapes. Stand tall, take the blow, force yourself forward, and watch as raw struggle turns into refined strength. You're closer to unbreakable than you think. As we step out of the forge of this journey, let the heat linger in your bones. You've seen Maria, the parent who turned grueling days into a shield for her family, and James, the recovering soul who forged a new life from the ashes of temptation. You've felt the truth in their stories. Pain and resistance are not your enemies, but your greatest allies in transformation. They are the fire and hammer that shape you, strike by strike, into a force that cannot be bent or broken. The lesson of forging through fire is clear. When you want to quit, embrace the struggle as your crucible. Let it burn away what's weak and temper what's strong. You are not just surviving, you are becoming. As we move forward, carry this heat with you, ready to face the next challenge with a heart of steel. Remember, every blow you withstand is crafting your victory. Keep striking, keep enduring, and watch yourself emerge as something unstoppable. Strike on. Your steel is forming with every blow. Picture a seed, tiny and unassuming, buried beneath layers of hardened earth. It's trapped, suffocated by the weight of the world above. Yet deep within, a quiet force stirs, a relentless urge to break free, to push upward, to reach the light. That seed is you, right now. You stand at the edge of surrender, your dreams crushed under the weight of endless setbacks. Quitting feels like the only escape. But what if the surface is closer than you think? What if one more push could shatter the unseen barriers holding you back? In this moment, in the heart of your struggle, you must learn to force yourself forward when every fiber of your being screams to stop. This is not just about grit, it's about strategy, about finding the cracks in the earth and driving through them. Welcome to a journey of breaking through, where you'll forge practical tools to keep moving, no matter how heavy the soil feels. Let's unearth your strength together. The light awaits. Imagine yourself as a job seeker, sitting at a worn-out desk, surrounded by a pile of rejection emails. Each one stings sharper than the last. We regret to inform you, those words have become a cruel mantra. You've sent out over 50 applications in the past month, tailored every resume, practiced every interview question until your voice cracked. Yet, the silence is deafening. Bills pile up. Friends ask, "Haven't you found something yet?" Doubt creeps in like a shadow, whispering that you're not good enough, that you should settle for anything, or worse, give up entirely. You stare at the screen, fingers hovering over the delete key, ready to erase your aspirations for something safer, smaller. But then, you pause. Something inside, a tiny, defiant spark, refuses to let go. You're like that seed beneath the earth, pressed down by rejection's weight, but still alive with potential. Instead of quitting, you decide to refine your approach. You analyze every rejection for patterns. Were your cover letters too generic? Did your skills miss the mark for certain roles? You reach out to a mentor for feedback, rewrite your materials with precision, and target companies that align with your unique strengths. Each small tweak is a push against the hardened soil. Days turn into weeks, and just when exhaustion threatens to win, an email arrives. "We'd like to schedule an interview." It's not the finish line, but it's a crack in the earth, a sign that your persistence is breaking through. The lesson here is clear. When quitting looms, don't abandon your roots. Dig deeper into your strategy, adjust, refine, and push again. Like the seed, you don't need to burst through all at once. You just need to keep pressing forward, trusting that the surface is near. Your breakthrough isn't a gift. It's the result of every calculated shove against the barriers. Now picture yourself chasing a lifelong passion, painting, writing, or creating music. You've dreamed of this since you were a child, sketching ideas in notebooks, humming melodies in quiet moments. But now, as an adult, the weight of reality bears down. You've poured hours into your craft, yet the world barely notices. Your latest work sits unseen on social media, gathering dust instead of praise. Self-doubt becomes a storm, raging in your mind. Who am I to think I can do this? I'm wasting my time. Every blank canvas or empty page feels like a taunt. You want to quit, to shove your tools into a drawer and walk away from the pain of trying. Yet, in the quiet of your struggle, you feel it, that same seed-like force within. You refuse to let the storm uproot you. Instead of abandoning your passion, you find small ways to keep momentum. You commit to creating for just 10 minutes a day. No matter how uninspired you feel, you study the work of others, not to compare, but to learn a single technique you can apply. You share your art with one trusted friend, not for validation, but for connection. Each tiny step is a root stretching through the earth, seeking nourishment. Over time, those minutes build into hours, and one day, a stranger stumbles upon your work and leaves a comment. "This moved me." It's a sliver of light piercing the soil, proof that your quiet persistence is carving a path. What can you take from this? When the urge to quit drowns you, don't rip out your roots. Anchor yourself with small, deliberate actions. You're the seed, and even the smallest push against the earth matters. Keep moving, even if it's an inch at a time. The unseen barriers of doubt will crack, and your passion will find its way to the surface. Let's step back and reflect. Why does quitting feel so tempting when the weight of struggle presses down? It's because the unseen barriers, fear, doubt, exhaustion, seem impenetrable, like a crust of earth too thick to break. But consider the seed. It doesn't see the sky. It doesn't know how deep the soil is. Yet, it fights with a force it cannot name, driven by an ancient instinct to rise. You too carry that instinct. The barriers holding you back are not stone. They're illusions of your mind, hardened by repetition but breakable with strategy. How many times have you stopped just before the breakthrough, unaware that one more push could have changed everything? Think of your struggle as a silent war beneath the surface. Every time you force yourself forward, you weaken the earth above. Every rejection you analyze, every small step you take, is a crack in the barrier. Pain is not your enemy. It's the pressure that shapes your strength. Like a river carving through stone, your persistence doesn't need to be loud or dramatic. It just needs to be relentless. So ask yourself, what barrier are you letting define you? What small push can you make today to prove it wrong? The seed doesn't quit because it trusts in its purpose. Neither should you. Let's go deeper. Resistance is not a curse, it's a forge. When you want to quit, you're standing in the heat of transformation, where every barrier you face is an opportunity to temper your resolve. Picture yourself as raw iron, unshaped and fragile, thrust into the flames of challenge. The urge to quit is the temptation to escape the fire before you're forged. But what if you stayed? What if you embraced the heat, knowing that each blow of struggle is crafting you into something unbreakable? The seed understands this, buried and battered. It doesn't curse the earth. It uses the pressure to grow stronger roots. So must you. The unseen barriers, whether they're external setbacks or internal doubts, are the very forces that build your resilience. When you force yourself forward, you're not just surviving, you're becoming. How many dreams have you buried for instant relief, only to wonder later what could have been? Stop running from the forge. Stand in the fire. Let the barriers shape you. Your strength is not in avoiding struggle, but in pushing through it with purpose. Now, let's get practical. When the weight of quitting feels unbearable, you need a strategy to keep pushing through the earth. Start by mapping your push. Pause before you surrender. Grab a piece of paper and write down exactly what's stopping you, be it fear, fatigue, or failure. Name the barrier, then break it into smaller pieces. If you're facing rejection, like our job seeker, list 3 specific areas to improve: your resume, your interview skills, your network. Tackle one at a time. Set a tiny, achievable goal for the day. Maybe rewriting 1 paragraph or reaching out to 1 contact. Each completed step is a root breaking through the soil. Next, track your progress. Keep a simple log of every action, no matter how small. Seeing your efforts accumulate builds momentum. Finally, set a push deadline. Tell yourself, I'll give this 1 more week of focused effort before reassessing. Often, that extra push reveals the crack in the barrier you couldn't see before. You're not just moving blindly, you're strategizing your ascent. Force yourself with intention, and the unseen will become visible. Here's another tool to force yourself forward. Anchor with micro wins. When self-doubt or exhaustion threatens to uproot you, shrink your focus to the smallest possible victory. Like the artist in our story, don't aim for a masterpiece when you're on the brink of quitting. Aim for 10 minutes of effort. Write 1 sentence, sketch 1 line, complete 1 task. No matter how trivial it seems, each micro win is a thread of momentum, a root digging deeper into the earth. To make this stick, pair your micro win with a ritual. After completing it, take a deep breath and say aloud, I did this. I'm still here. Let that moment anchor you. Then, build on it tomorrow. Stack these tiny victories, and soon, you'll see the soil above thinning. The key is to never let a day pass without some forward motion. Quitting thrives on stillness, so defy it with action. You're the seed, and every micro win is a push toward the light. Keep going. The barrier will break. As we close this chapter of your journey, remember the unseen barriers are not your end, they're your beginning. You've walked with a job seeker who turned rejection into strategy, and an artist who transformed doubt into quiet momentum. You've reflected on the seed's silent war in the forge of resistance, understanding that struggle is the soil where your strength takes root. With practical tools like mapping your push and anchoring with micro wins, you now hold the power to force yourself forward when quitting seems inevitable. The takeaway is this: breakthroughs hide just beyond the barriers, and your persistence paired with strategy is the key to shattering them. So, stand firm, feel the weight of the earth above, but know it's not permanent. You're closer to the light than you realize. Keep pushing, keep refining, keep moving. The surface awaits, and with it, the life you fought to claim. As we prepare to explore the next layer of forcing yourself through despair, carry this truth with you. Let it be your guide, your fire, your unyielding force. Push through the earth. Your light is waiting. Picture yourself in an endless cavern, the air thick with shadow, your only guide a lone torch flickering in your trembling hand. The darkness presses in, heavy with doubt, whispering that the way out is lost, that your strength is spent. Why keep going when surrender seems so sweet? Yet, deep within, you feel it, a pulse of defiance, a spark that refuses to die. This is the essence of perseverance, the raw, unyielding force that transforms struggle into triumph. In this moment, as we explore the light beyond the darkness, you're not just surviving the cavern of despair, you're forging a path to a brilliance you can't yet see. Within the greater journey of forcing yourself when you want to quit, this section celebrates the profound victory of refusing to stop, the rebirth that awaits when you hold that torch high and press on. Feel the weight of every step. Know that each one carves your legacy. Are you ready to witness the light beyond the darkness? Imagine the pounding of your feet against the asphalt, mile after mile. In a marathon you've trained months to conquer. Your lungs burn like a furnace. Your legs scream for mercy, and the finish line feels like a mirage in a desert of pain. Halfway through, at mile 13, the thought strikes like a thunderbolt. Stop. Just walk. No one will blame you. The crowd's cheers fade into a distant hum, and all you hear is your own ragged breath, tempting you to collapse. You've pushed through grueling dawn runs, sacrificed sleep, endured blisters that bled through your socks. Why throw it away now? But the cavern of your mind is dark, and quitting feels like the only escape. Yet, in that suffocating moment, you grip your lone torch, your purpose. You remember the promise you made to yourself, not just to finish, but to prove you're stronger than your excuses. You force one foot in front of the other, each step a rebellion against surrender. Hours later, when your body is a trembling shell, you cross the finish line. The roar of the crowd crashes over you like a tidal wave. But the true victory is quieter. It's the realization that you didn't just run 26.2 miles. You shattered the walls of your own doubt. That lone torch, flickering through the endless cavern of pain, guided you to a light no one else could see. The lesson burns bright. Perseverance isn't about the metal around your neck. It's about the fire you stoke within when every fiber of you begs to quit. Now, picture yourself as an artist, hunched over a canvas in a dim, cluttered studio, the weight of years pressing down. You've poured your soul into every brushstroke, every sketch, only to face rejection after rejection. Galleries turn you away, critics scoff, and even friends murmur. Maybe it's time to try something else. The endless cavern of obscurity stretches before you, and your lone torch, the belief in your vision, flickers dangerously low. Late at night, staring at a half-finished piece, you wonder if the struggle is worth it. Your hands ache, your savings dwindle, and the silence of unrecognized work feels like a tomb. But something stirs. You recall the first time a line on paper felt like magic, the quiet hours when creating was your only refuge. You force yourself to pick up the brush again, to submit one more piece, to endure one more no. Years pass, and then, like a crack of dawn in that cavern, a small gallery accepts your work. A critic writes a glowing review. Suddenly, the world sees what you always knew was there. At an exhibition, as strangers marvel at your art, you stand silently, knowing every rejection, every tear, every sleepless night fueled this moment. That lone torch, nearly snuffed out so many times, led you to this light. The truth emerges. Every struggle was a stroke on the canvas of your greatness. Refusing to quit didn't just bring recognition, it sculpted you into the artist you were meant to be. Let's pause and look deeper into this endless cavern. This metaphor for the darkest stretches of your journey. It's not a prison, it's a crucible. The shadows aren't there to bury you, they're there to temper you, to forge your will into something unbreakable. Think about it. How many times have you faced a wall of impossibility, only to discover that pushing through revealed a strength you didn't know you had? How many dreams have you nearly abandoned, only to find that one more step brought them within reach? Perseverance isn't a gift bestowed upon the lucky. It's a choice, a deliberate act of holding your torch aloft when the darkness feels eternal. Consider the lone torch as more than light. It's your resolve, your inner voice that whispers, "Not yet, not today." It's the memory of why you started, the vision of who you could become. The transformation that comes from refusing to quit isn't just about reaching a goal. It's about who you become in the process. You emerge not as the person who entered the cavern, but as someone sculpted by its challenges, sharper, bolder, wiser. The light beyond the darkness isn't just a destination, it's the revelation of your own power. So, when the shadows loom largest, ask yourself, will you let them define you, or will you use them to refine you? Now, let's turn inward again. Imagine your struggle as a river cutting through stone, not a gentle stream, but a relentless force that carves canyons over time. The pain of pushing forward, the ache of forcing yourself when you want to quit, is the river's roar. It feels like chaos, like destruction, but in truth, it's creation. Every moment you choose to endure, you're shaping a masterpiece, the landscape of your life. Have you ever considered that the darkness itself holds a hidden brilliance, a light only visible to those who refuse to turn back? The lone torch in your hand isn't just for guidance, it's a symbol of your defiance against despair. Perseverance transforms you because it strips away illusion. It teaches you that comfort is a fleeting trap, while struggle is the anvil on which your character is hammered. The marathon runner didn't just gain a medal, they gained grit. The artist didn't just earn recognition, they earned resilience. And you, in your own cavern, are gaining a strength that no shortcut could ever provide. The light beyond the darkness is not just a reward, it's the mirror that shows you who you truly are. So, stand firm. Let the river of struggle carve its path. Trust that the canyon it forms will be breathtaking. When the urge to quit grips you, when the cavern feels like it will swallow you whole, you need a lifeline, something tangible to anchor your resolve. Here's how to hold your lone torch high. First, pause. Don't act on the impulse to surrender. Breathe deeply for 1 minute and let the storm of doubt pass through you without taking root. Second, recall a single moment, a time when pushing through paid off, no matter how small. Maybe it was finishing a project, overcoming a fear, or simply getting out of bed on a brutal day. Let that memory be your flame. Third, commit to one tiny step forward, not a leap, not a sprint, just one action. Write one sentence, run one more block, make one more call. That step is your torch flaring brighter. Finally, run. Speak to yourself with authority. Say aloud, "I'm not done yet." Let those words echo in the cavern of your mind until they drown out the whispers of defeat. This isn't about grand gestures. It's about relentless micro victories. Each time you force yourself forward, you're not just surviving, you're building a monument to your perseverance. The light beyond the darkness isn't a distant fantasy. It's the sum of these small, fierce choices. Sun Chi, when you want to quit, don't ask if you can keep going. Ask, how will I feel tomorrow if I stop now? The answer will guide you. Here's another tool to wield in your darkest moments. Celebrate the small flames along the way. Perseverance isn't just about the blinding light at the end. It's about honoring every flicker of progress that keeps your torch alive. Start by tracking your efforts, not just your outcomes. Keep a simple journal or note on your phone. Each day, write down one thing you did despite wanting to quit. Maybe you showed up to a tough meeting, practiced a skill for 10 minutes, or resisted giving up on a goal. These are your small flames, proof that you're still in the fight. Then, my son, reward yourself for these moments, not with extravagance, but with acknowledgement. A quiet moment of pride, a favorite song, a walk in the open air. These rituals remind you that every step through the cavern matters. Finally, share your small victories with someone who believes in you. Their encouragement will fan your flame when your own strength wavers. Remember, the marathon runner didn't win in one stride. The artist didn't triumph in one painting. They built their light brick by brick, flame by flame. So can you. Force yourself to see the small wins. They're the sparks that lead to your transformation. As we stand at the edge of this cavern, gazing at the light beyond the darkness, let's anchor ourselves in the truth we've uncovered. Perseverance is not just survival. It's a profound transformation, a rebirth forged by refusing to quit. You've walked with the marathon runner, felt the weight of every agonizing mile, and crossed the finish line to find not just victory, but a new version of yourself. You've sat with the artist, endured the sting of rejection, and emerged to see your struggles immortalized in beauty. Through these stories, through the lone torch guiding us, we've learned that the key lesson, or part takeaway, is not a distant hope, but a lived reality you create with every choice to press on. The darkness will return. Caverns always do. But now you know the power of your torch, the unyielding flame of your will. As we move forward, carry this light into the next challenge, the next stretch of shadow. You are not just a wanderer in the endless depths. You are the architect of your own brilliance. Let this truth be your guide, your rallying cry. As we step into what lies ahead, hold your torch high. The light beyond is yours to claim.